subject of the shiur is the lost 10 tribes, but before we start, Shimon,
Yes.
you sponsored the shiur today.
Yeah.
In Refuat of,
Oh, my wife.
yeah, what's her Hebrew name?
Is
Margalit בת שרה, נכון? ולעילוי נשמת? Brana bat Devora. Okay. So please God should be Aliyat Neshama, please God should be Refuah Shlema to Margalit bat Sara. Speedy recovery. Okay. בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח. So, after the kingdom of Shlomo HaMelech, everyone knows Shlomo HaMelech. Remember, we done a show about Shlomo HaMelech. So first it was his father, David HaMelech. Then he took his place, and he became the second king of Israel, Shlomo HaMelech. After Shlomo HaMelech came his son, Rehavam. Rehavam was the king, the third king. Sorry, I refer. Shaul was the first king. David was the second, mistake. Shlomo was the third one. Rehavam was the fourth Jewish king, Melech Israel. Okay? Because I forgot about Shaul before that. So what happened? When Rehavam took the kingdom from his father, that was during the time of the 922 years before the Common Era. That's when Rehavam started taking. You understand what I'm saying? Start controlling. And that time was a problem, because he put heavy tax on the Jewish people, and they rebelled. That was still that we have the 12th tribe, that we knew about the 12th tribe. So what's happened? Part of the 12th tribe rebelled. The northern part of Israel until Shomron, that's Samaria, okay? Shomron is Samaria, okay? That was the capital of the Malchut Israel, because the kingdom got split to Malchut Yehuda and Malchut Israel. Malchut Yehuda been ruled by Rehavam, the son of Shlomo HaMelech. Malchut Israel been ruled by a different king, Yerovam ben Nevat. That was the top part of Eretz Israel, the north part, and Samaria was their capital. 200 years later, now I'm skipping 200 years later, okay? What happened 200 years later? That means that 722 years before the Common Era was a king. Who was the king? Hoshea HaMelech. Hoshea HaMelech was the king that ruled in that time. The kingdom of Ashur came to Eretz Israel by the leadership of Shlemnatsar the Fifth, and they start putting the north part of Eretz Israel into siege. He dies suddenly, without knowing what's happened. Immediately, his brother, Sargon II, took over, and they managed to conquer the north part of Israel, and they took the entire Malchut Israel to be captured. They captured them. Not only that, they destroyed their capital, the Shomron, that's called Samaria. And they took him to exile. That was the beginning and the end of the 10 tribes that we know. Until here, that's what we know regarding the 12th tribe was together in Eretz Israel. In 722 years before the Common Era, that's when the kingdom of Ashur invaded the north part of Eretz Israel, took the 10 tribes to exile. Any questions so far? No, good.
How do they do that?
Huh?
How do they take him to exile?
Very simple. They took the Jewish people there, they took them to exile. They just shipped them with them. The same like all the Jewish people gone in the time of the Babylon. Remember, the Babylonian, the first destruction. They took him all out of Eretz Israel. They forced him. They didn't ask him to come. They forced him to go without nothing. They left everything. So what's happened? Now we're talking about the exile. Remember, the question is, where is the 10 tribe been taken to exile? You understand what I'm saying? And that's what we're going to try to identify today. So we're going to go to two sources that our friend Menachem is going to read for us. I'm going to read it in Hebrew, then he's going to read it in English. The first source comes from Sefer Melachim, the book of Melachim. Book of Melachim split to two, Melachim Aleph, Melachim Bet. That means Melachim 1, Melachim 2. That's referring to the books of the king. And I'm going to go to chapter 17, verse 6, and there it says like this. ויגל את ישראל אשורה, וישב אותם בחלך ובחובר, נהר גוזן וערי מדי.
In the 9th year of the reign of Hosea, the king of Assyria, captured Samaria and exiled Israel to Assyria. He settled them in Halah, in Habor, by the Gozan River, and in the cities of Media.
That's all what we know from the book of Kings, from the Tanakh. That's all we know, those 4 cities that they've been exiled to. Where are they? What are they? We're going to try to identify today, and we're going to use the Talmud Bavli and Talmud Yerushalmi. Please God in the show. But the second source comes from Sefer Divrei Hayamim. Sefer Divrei Hayamim, it's also been split to 2. That's in English, you call it Chronicle. Am I right? The Chronicle. The Chronicle, yeah. In Chronicle 1, Aleph, chapter 5, verse 26, there it says something also referring to where the king of Ashur, or the kingdom of Ashur, put the Jewish people into exile. What is it said? It says, ויגלם לראובני ולגדי ולחצי שבט מנשה, ויביאם לחלך וחובר והרעה ונהר גוזן עד היום הזה.
So the God of Israel stirred up the spirit of Pul, king of Assyria, and the spirit of Telechat, Nezer, king of Assyria, and he led away the Reubenites, the Gadites, and half the tribe of Manasseh into exile, transporting them to Halah, Habor, and Hara, and to the river Gozan until this day.
Okay. So here we see that from both of the book, Divrei Hayamim and Melachim Bet, we see that they're both speaking about the same cities, the same area that the 10 tribes go to exile. Where are they? That's the question that we have to understand. The Gemara Masechet Kiddushin, page in Daf Ayin Bet Amud Aleph, that means 72, okay, folio 1, Hazal explained, and we'll see from here that Hazal knew exactly which each city is it, because they're referring to the name of the city, the name of the places that the Jewish people been taken to exile, and they tell you where is it. So it says like this. The Gemara tells us, Halach ze Halzon. Our sages tell us that the name, the city of Halach that mentioned in the Tanakh, it's actually Halzon. Hubar, zo Adiyav. Nehar Gozan, zo Ginzak. Are Madai, zo Hemed ve'havrotea. The Gemara tells us, giving us all different names that it was known to them at that time. Where is those places that been mentioned in the Tanakh? Okay, let's move on. The Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin asks a question. In page Tzadik Daled Amud Aleph, that means 94 folio 1, the Gemara asks, Lehecha agle lehu. Where did they really took them, the 10 tribes? Where did they put it to exile? The Gemara in Sanhedrin say. Okay? Mar Zutra it's one of the sages, אמר לאפריקי. רבי חנינה אמר להרי סולג. מר זוטרה say אפריקי. Where is Afriki? Africa. נכון. We'll see where is Africa. I'm going to surprise you today. I'm going to bring you some of the researchers, what they say, where they are in Africa. Okay. Sorry, I missed something?
I said definitely not Johannesburg.
Do you want to be surprised? Okay, I will surprise you. I will surprise you. The Gemara Masechet Yevamot says something also very interesting. In the Gemara Masechet Yevamot, page 16, folio 2, Tet Zayin Amud Bet. There is a debate that the Hazal asking, what happened if a Gentile person that lived in those cities wanted to marry a Jewish woman? Can he marry her or not? That means if that Kiddushin will hold on. Because we know that if a Gentile married a Jewish woman, there is no Kiddushin. So why did the Gemara ask that? Hazal explained there, because there is a hashash, that means there is a doubt that maybe that Gentile that we're saying that is a Gentile is a member of the 10 tribes. You learn that. You learn that, Steve? You learn that sugya. So Hazal said there, you know what, it's not so simple. Because it might that Gentile from those areas that we mentioned, he's a member of the 10 tribes. And if he's a member of the 10 tribes, there is a Kiddushin. Or there is no Kiddushin. Or maybe they're relative. There's all different questions there. So we see the third Gemara. That's all in Talmud Bavli. Now moving to Talmud Yerushalmi. Did I always explain the difference? Talmud Yerushalmi been written in Eretz Israel, and the Talmud Bavli been written in Babylon, in Bavel, that means Iraq of today. And the Talmud Yerushalmi in the Gemara Masechet Sanhedrin, there it go differently. There it go chapters and halacha. In chapter 10, halacha 6, there the Gemara tells us, Leshlosha galuyot galu Israel. That means for 3 exile, the Jewish people gone. Where the first one gone? To Nahara Sambation, the river that called the Sambation River. Anyone heard about it? So I will explain what it means, the Sambation. Sambation is a river that all week, for 6 days of the week, that river throws stone. On the 7th day, it stopped. It doesn't throw stone. Why they call it the Sambation? Huh? Because it's, how do we say in Yiddish? Shabbat, Sabbath. Nachon, in English, Sabbath, the Sabbath. So they couldn't say the Sabbath, they call it the Sambation, the 7th day. You understand? The 7th-day river. Sambation. Because on the 7th day, he rests, doesn't throw stone. We'll get to it. If I knew, I will be there to bring the 10 tribes. I'll answer you now. That was the first exile. The second exile, לדופני, של אנטיוכה. Antiochus, most probably. That's more awards, Europe. We go in Europe. ואחד, שרד עלי מענן וכיסה אותם. What does it mean? And the third exile, Akadosh Baruch Hu hide them. He put the cloud over them and he hide them. We don't know where they are. Now, we're stuck. We have the Tanakh, we have the Bavli, but where they are really? Where they are really? So in the 9th century, a man by the name Eldad Hadani. Eldad Hadani. That means that he was from the tribe of Dan. Arrived on the city of Kirwan. And he told them that he's from the tribe of Dan. And they are, before I continue where they are, he told them that in his tribes, Dan, there is another 3 tribes from the 10 tribes. Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. That means Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher, all 4 of them together. And he said to them that they are in a peninsula that's called Hatziya-i Arab. That means the Arab Peninsula. Did you hear about it? The Arab Peninsula? That's very close to Asia there. You know what I'm saying? Just close by Asia. The Nahmanite. Now we go into the Rambam.
Sorry, Rabbi, I missed all the oil there.
Let's see if they missed the oil. The Nahmanites, Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman, he born 820 years ago. He born in the city of Catalonia in Spain. And he wrote his explanation to the Torah. And he explained, listen to that now. Where's the Sambation, you ask? he explained where is the river of the Sambation. And he said that it's between Abazania. Did you hear about that place? Abazania. And Sudan. Abazania is Ethiopia of today. Ethiopia. You know where is Ethiopia? Sudan, you know where is it? Oh. So that's the Nahmanite. The Ravad say that there is many Jews in Ethiopia, and when they brought the Jews to Eretz Israel, the Ethiopian Jews, was a big controversial in Eretz Israel. Because some people say that they're not Jewish. And if they're not Jewish, they have to go to the mikvah. The Ravad said that they're Jewish. Came the late Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, Zecher Tzadik V'Kadosh Lebracha, he said, no, not so quick. You can't say that they're not Jewish. I'm referring to the Ethiopian Jews, Rabota, I'm repeating. And he says, and he brought the opinion of the Ravad, and he said, no, they are Jews, and they don't need to do a tefillah. It was an argument between the Rabbanut and him and all the Gdolim, and in the end they come to the conclusion that they don't have to do tefillah, though some of them done tefillah, but without a brocha. So now, what did we hear until here? What do we learn from here? That you remember we say Africa. We say Nahara Sambation, the river of the Sambation. That's most probably the river of Gozan. That's mentioned where? In the Tanakh. And King Aleph and Chronicle Aleph. Remember it's mentioned there. So that's most probably what they're referring. We assume. Many of the researchers, I'm talking now, I'm moving to our days. On top of them, Harav Eliyahu Berenbaum. He researched for many years regarding the 10 lost tribes. And he traveled all over places to find them. And he was one of those researchers that say that you can find them in Afghanistan. You know where's Afghanistan? Right in the north of Asia, close to Russia. Pakistan, Asia, the heart of Asia. India, China, Ethiopia, and here's the surprise. South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique. How do we know about it? I think 10 or 20 years ago, no, even more than 20 years ago, there is the Lamba tribe. The Lamba, you call it, the Lamba tribe. And he said that he thinks that they're part of it. And that will help us to understand what the Gemara say in Afriki. You remember, Marzutra say in Afriki. That they're in Africa. So how did you get to conclusion that the Lamba tribe, or the Lemba tribe, they are member of the 10 tribes? How do you get to it? Because they say so. No. So in the research that they done, they found that many of them, and I want to tell you, you know the Taliban? Yeah. You know the Taliban?
Those friendly people.
Sorry?
Those friendly killers.
Very strangely people. Okay. So you know the Taliban keep the Sabbath? They observe the Sabbath?
When? On Friday or Shabbos?
Friday, Shabbat. What's the difference? Shabbat, they observe the Shabbos. They light candles. All of those people that we mentioned and those countries that they're talking about, they observe the Shabbos. They light candle on Friday night. Do you understand me? They fast on Yom Kippur. They don't eat meat and milk together. Okay. So we know about them. Now we have to understand how will they come back? Will they not come back? I'm going to bring the Mishnah in Masechet Sanhedrin. There is a mahloket there. But before I go there, There is a book that called Maaseh Tzadikim. Maaseh Tzadikim, it's a book that's been written by Rabbi Avraham Sasson, Ibn Sasson. And he says, in page 3 in the book, he said that the Or HaChaim HaKadosh, Rabbi Chaim ben Attar, born in Morocco 321 years ago. And he said that Rabbi Chaim ben Attar met the 10 tribes. And he saw them, and he spoke to them. And Rabbi Chaim ben Attar said that they are big people, strong people. And they live in a place that's very safe. The place that they live, they're very safe. There's no problem. What does that tell us? You remember that we say, that the Gemara said that HaKadosh Baruch Hu put a cloud over them and hide them? They're safe. Let's move on. Will the 12 tribes ever will return? That mahloket kam. The Mishnah Masechet Sanhedrin, Perek Yud, that means chapter 10, Mishnah 3, Mishnah Gimel. There is a mahloket between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Akiva said, to his opinion, the 10 tribes will never come back. We'll see what he means. Rabbi Eliezer said that the 12 tribes will come back. When will they come back? What's going to happen? We have to understand.
Excuse me, Rabbi, but what they, over the years, they would have intermarried, etc., so they would have so-called disappeared amongst the locals.
That's supposed to be, but they're not. Because if you look, the Ethiopian Jews, they look and they behave like Jews. You know, the Ethiopian Jews, this is maybe not belong to the show, but I heard that from a social worker in Eretz Israel. Listen to that, what she said. One day she gone to one of the houses of the Ethiopian Jews. It was in the south of Eretz Israel, and she walked in, and she sees something very strange in the house. She saw that the table that they sit and eat suddenly covered. But the cover, not only reaching just the table, reached to the floor, right to the floor. It looked like a tent. She couldn't work it out. It looked strange, but she didn't say nothing. Through a few visits, she saw that sometimes there is cover, sometimes there is no cover that reached to the floor. And then she got the courage and she asked one of the child, what's happening here? So they explained to her there's a certain time during the months that my parents cover it and the mother go underneath. Is that helping you to understand? That there is certain time during the months when the women have a cycle, you understand? She have to be separated. So they took it much more different to us. You understand? So from here we see that they never intermarriage. One second. So they never intermarriage. You understand? They kept their identity as a Jews all the time. Yes?
Remember where I work? There's this one guy, he's like a supervisor for different departments in the company. He says he belongs to the tribe Shemi, and they have Sabbath on the same day. They don't believe in the New Testament, and
where is he from? From which country? Did he tell you?
no, he never told me.
Okay, go then. Okay.
The Shemis come from Northern Transvaal.
Northern Transvaal. Okay. So it's still in South Africa. Okay. The Rambam, now,
Sorry, one thing. In the old southern Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, there's a place called Fort Victoria where they found what they call Zimbabwean ruins. And these are constructed out of rock. No black tribe could have built these kind of structures. Never. And they were in the valley, there were the houses, and they had the so-called fort, and near a source of water. And the blacks there could never and would never have done such hard work. And in another part, my father was on a farm and they had built a wall out of stone, the same kind of stone, very fancy work, very good quality work out of stone. That was, they said the Portuguese built it, but I don't know, I don't think they would have built that.
I don't know. The Rambam, the Maimonite, Rabbi Moshe ben Maimon, he born 882 years ago. He born in Cordova, the city of Cordova in Spain. And in his letters he say that the 10 tribes will come back. And he agree with Rabbi Eliezer from here. Although when Hazal explained the Mishnah, we'll see in the end that even Rabbi Akiva said that they will come back. What it means it will come back? They will never come back. He referred to those that intermarriage, they will never come back. That's for the question that you ask. The Malbin, Rabbi Meir Libush ben Yehiel Michael, he born in Ukraine 208 years ago. And his commentary on the book of Yehezkel, the prophet Yehezkel, in chapter 37, verse 19, he explained that the return of the 10 tribes, it's part of the redemption. That means it's part of our redemption towards the coming of the Mashiach. That's the Malbin. I'm going to go now towards a commentary that there is a book that's called Hayav ve'po'alo shel tzaddik. That means the life and the work of a tzaddik. That book been written by Rabbi Moshe Hainawi. Rabbi Moshe Hainawi wrote that book about the famous Kabbalistic, the latest Kabbalistic that we have in our generation, the late Rabbi Yitzhak Kaduri. I have a merit to go to him, to get a brocha. As a matter of fact, I can share with you. You know, when I came to South Africa, almost 28 years ago, after 5-6 years, me and my wife decided that's it, we're going back, or even 7 years ago after we came. So my sister, my middle sister, was very close to him. He was the sandak of a son. I said to her, listen, we want to come back to Eretz Israel. We're planning to come back. And we wanted to go to Kibbutz Shluchot, next to Bet Sha'an. We want to settle there. It's a religious kibbutz. But I want you to ask Rabbi Kaduri for me. She said, please write me the question, and I'll give it to Rabbi Kaduri, and then I'll answer you. So I wrote all the debate that we have. I wrote the thing. And the answer was, my sister said to me that Rabbi Kaduri said, that he said, if you're making money, and if you're getting stronger with Yiddishkeit, better stay here. So that's why I'm here today, still here. So Rabbi Kaduri say like this, that the 10 tribes are safely at the moment sitting in a safe place. They are 100% safe, and they will return when the Mashiach comes. So I hope that I summarize most of our gray part regarding the 10 tribes in such a short time that we have in a show. But before we finish, there is any question? I'm sure that there is question. No? Yes. Yes, Simon.
Lionel was talking about a wall. Who built it?
Sorry, what? I didn't understand you, Simon. Don't worry about it. That's in a different place. He thinks that
I want to know who paid for it. The Mexicans.
who paid for it?
The Mexicans.
The Mexican. Okay. Definitely not Robert Mugabe. Definitely not Robert Mugabe. So from here we see that the 10 tribes actually gone to exile in a time of the 722 years before the Common Era, because it was split in a Jewish nation, because Rehavam, the son of Shlomo HaMelech, that was a king that he took over him, put a heavy tax, and they wasn't happy with that. But I forget to mention that Hazal warned them and told them, don't put the heavy tax. Don't put heavy tax on the Jewish people. He said, don't tell me what to do. Because the reason that he put the heavy tax, because the youngsters in that time came and said to him, listen, put heavy tax, we'll have a stronger country. And they was the one that encouraged him to put heavy tax. And that's how Malchut Israel been split. The kingdom of the Jewish people been split. It's called Malchut Yehuda. That from it become only two tribes, Menashe and Ephraim, and part of the tribe of the Levi. And why am I say part of the tribe of the Levi? The Levi they never own the land. They never inherit land in Eretz Israel. So yeah, they used to stay in different areas. Yes, Benji.
When you talk about these 10 tribes, right? How many people in each tribe? Because we hear of tribes, but is it 1,000 people in each tribe?
No, more. You must understand.
People per tribe.
Must understand.
Now, just to get an idea of
At least,
Rabbi,
hundreds of thousands.
in recorded history, all over the world, there are pockets that can be proved that they're descendants because of what the customs they...
Yeah, that's what I mentioned.
Yeah, like the Ethiopian Jews, talking about the era of Solomon, Queen Sheba and all that, their features are even different to the locals.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They definitely are historically come from somewhere else.
Definitely.
And the same thing is there's a group in China.
That's what I mentioned.
That practice Judaism, but it has been developed and changed. But they are practicing something which they must have got from somewhere.
So Benji asked numbers, not less than hundreds of thousands. Huh? We're not talking about 1,000 here, 1,000 there. Hundreds of thousands going to be the 10 tribes. Huh?
But if there was over 100,000 per tribe,
just remember they split them all over the world. Huh?
but if there was 100,000 per tribe, you would be able to see them. You can't miss 100,000 people.
You know, today, funny enough, I said the show, and today I read in the news that, an aeroplane been disappeared this morning at 10 o'clock or 10:15. In the air, disappear.
Where?
He's belonged to what we used to call the old country Burma. You remember Burma? Burma. You know the triangle of Burma? It's belonged to their army. One of the airplanes suddenly disappeared off the radar. They didn't find it. You remember a year ago, 2 years ago, the Malaysian airplane disappeared, they couldn't find them? When HaKadosh Baruch Hu want to hide someone, Benji, what is it for him? He can do everything. So he put 100,000. They found not long ago, like I think maybe 9 or 12 months ago, a tribe in the Amazon. I mean, the Amazon all the time being found by researchers that they're completely naked. They can't even communicate with them. They're like cannibal. So what is it for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to hide a few 100,000 Jews? Do you understand?
But bigger than that.
But why is it? Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you mean split the kingdom? I can't hear, Stephen. Why did he hide them? I think that they're not going to integrate. Which means not going to intermarriage, not going to lose their identity. But Be'ezrat Hashem, now that we know a bit more about the 10 tribes, we should pray and we should daven that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send us Mashiach Tzidkenu, and speedily it will be speedily in our day, we shall see them and we should meet our brothers and sisters from the 10 tribes. Amen. Ken Yiratzon.